Marvel Future Fighters. Did you know that there's secret tech to Namor's playstyle? Yes, Namor specifically has secret tech that no other character has. Let me show you. This is a rotation where you take advantage of said secret tech, and you do close to, I do about 1 million damage. Alright, in this next rotation here, we're taking advantage of that secret tech again. And we clock in at about 2.6 million in the first 2 rotations. Now, ignore the amount of time that these 2 rotations take. I want to show you the difference in score when you don't take advantage of this secret tech. And I actually want to show you this before I explain what the secret tech is, because that is actually more important for you to understand exactly what's going on here. Look at this. First rotation. Whoa, only 700,000. What's going on, Alex? The secret tech, it really helps? Uh-oh. There must be something going on here. Let's pop the tier 3. And look at this. Instead of 2.7 million, I am almost a third less on the score. My score is almost reduced by 30%, down to just barely under 2 million. What's going on? How did you just lose 700,000 points? Because points are not dictated by the time that it takes. I know that it took me more time to clear those 2 rotations, but I still hit the boss with the same moves. I still did the moves in the same order. What's going on? Did I switch to CTP on the fly? No. This is the Namor secret tech. The fastest way to explain this quirk unique to Namor is to reference the unique quirk for Loki and basically say that it's the opposite. With Loki, on his 5th skill, you want as many mobs around as possible to stack and overlap explosions. With Namor's 3rd skill, you don't want any mobs around. You want all of those discs that he throws out to hit the Frost Beast. You can see there, I added almost 350,000 points just doing one skill, just the 3rd skill. But now watch what happens when we do the 3rd skill again, but the discs, instead of hitting the Frost Beast, because there are mobs around, they will hit the mobs. That 300,000 score instead is going to look something like, well, let's take a look here. Womp womp, 112. So 1/3 of the score gone because those discs were hitting the mobs instead of hitting the Frost Beast. The issue here as well involves chain hit damage, and Namor actually stacks a lot of chain hit damage, especially with his tier 4. So you want to chain as many hits as possible on the same target. So literally, Namor is the reverse of Loki. With Loki, you want lots of targets around. With Namor, you want one target. With one target around, you're going to do much more damage because you're going to be able to stack up that chain hit much, much higher. Look at this. Same exact situation as before. And again, I'm reaching close to 2.7 million, namely because I'm able to wipe out all of the mobs with the initial rotation, which allows me to then focus all of the rest of the hits of 3, 2, and 1, and the tier 3 and the tier 4. I can focus all of that on to the Frost Beast. Look at that. Amazing. Now, I'm not going to do the full run here, but what I want to show you guys here is I'm waiting for the mobs to bunch up so that the AoE from the 5th skill can clear them out, so that it guarantees my ability to hit the Frost Beast with all those attacks. Now there, I got a bit unlucky. I was a bit slow with my own rotation, and I ended up not having time to fit it in before the end there. But this is the essence of Namor's rotation. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you guys, I didn't want to just tell you guys the tech and end the video because the tech is really important, but I also wanted to show you how good Namor is with a judgment, because we're going to be swapping him over today. Since I got Dr. Octopus and gave him a brilliant, we don't need Namor anymore as a combat villain, so it actually frees me up to take Namor in and focus him on World Boss and other content. So we're going to go up to stage 35. This is a really hard stage for Namor. I'm going to show you guys how this stage goes. He can clear this stage, but actually, 2 things I want to point out. It's still a very difficult stage for him to clear with a rage. And the second thing I want to point out is that the striker matters. So for those of you that have a tier 4 Namor, but you don't get the most out of him, my suggestion to you is make sure you have the highest possible point striker possible. And what that means by point striker is a striker that matches the exact same instinct as Namor, which is, I believe, Order, and also a striker who is the same typing, like non-human, as Namor. So Cable will do, Professor X will do, other characters like that will do just fine. Jean will do as well. because you want the maximum amount of chain hit. With more than other characters, Namor actually loses a lot, I should say, from having a striker that is not giving him the full benefit. So you want to give him the full benefit. And so, yeah, we're going to do that. Okay, this is not the best rotation here, but I did want to be a bit more aggressive with the tier 3. And we should be good to go here. Awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, you want to make sure the striker gives him the highest possible, the level 6 buff for the tier 4 striker. If you can't manage a level 4 buff, or level 6 buff, sorry, then try to get a level 5 buff. I've noticed, particularly with Namor, that even going down just 2 stages to a level 4 buff can be the difference between clearing this particular stage and not clearing it, which is crazy. But I think it's like something like 8% chain hit is what he loses for every stage lower. So just going down by 2 stages means he loses close to 30%, or maybe possibly more than 30% of the total chain hit buff, because it drops 16%, 8% per stage, and that ends up being 16%, and it drops down to like 34, which is crazy. You know, 34% chain hit's not bad, but 50% chain hit is nuts. And that's why, talking about all this chain hit and looking at the Namor secret tech with comboing all of your hits on one mob, this explains perfectly why Namor is so good with a judgment, because he's able to leverage the full value of all that chain hit that the judgment is giving him. Now, we're probably not going to have enough damage here to squeak by. Oh, so close. Actually, so close. Wow. It's literally like barely a hit. But that actually gets me kind of hyped, because that means that for sure, I'll be able to get that down without doing that stupid sword phase when we switch to a judgment. So, yeah. That's what I wanted to show you guys, how long this takes versus the judgment, because I feel like it's going to be a massive improvement with essentially the same rotation, right? The same rotation here, where you play out the third skill. You cancel pretty much everything. You have a slight delay on 5, right, to let him swing up, and then you let the 3 play out, and then if there's time, you squeeze in the 1 and 2. I would say Namor has a pretty complex rotation at first, but you get the swing of it, you get the hang of it, and then just pop the tier 3 and cancel it when he slams down. The reason why you cancel the tier 3 is because there's just too much of a delay on the animations towards the second half. Namor's tier 3 is basically made up of 2 parts. There's the first part where he just swings around his trident and slams the ground, and that's all really good. And then the second part where he kind of surfs around. So when he slams down and the camera kind of jiggles, that's when you want to cancel it. Because the rest of it, the swimming around, it looks really cool. The swimming around, don't get me wrong, the swimming around looks really cool. And that giant burst of water that he does also looks really cool. But it triggers your next proc rotation. It triggers all this other stuff, and it doesn't really synergize as well with this combo, because you're constantly popping off and refreshing. With this rotation, you're constantly refreshing that 50% chain hit, and that's so important to have that up all the time, because 50% chain hit is just absolutely nuts, right? So we're gonna be a little bit. Actually, no, we're good, dude. We're good. He's toast. All right, so 1 minute and 10 seconds left. That's a really good run, but we can go so much faster after we swap him over to a Giga-Juiced Mighty Judgment. Making the swap here, unequipping this for 400 crystals, no biggie. We got a lot of these saved up, and now we go over to the Mighty Judgment. It's not even the best possible roll, but it's good enough for my purposes. 30% increased amplification, just below the max of 40, and then it's an 18-18 chain hit, which I wish the all attack was higher, like, you know, obviously closer to 30%, but it's still great. Puts me over 100,000 physical attack. Same stage, same team. Let's get it. 1 minute and 10 seconds. Let's see how he does now. We're popping off. Okay, first rotation seems about the same. No big, no big. We're gonna unload here. Okay. Seems about the same. All right, I am kind of expecting a little bit more, but I have to remember that I have to charge up the type, the mighty, right? You got to charge it up instead of just yeah, and that's why the V-pad is so nice as well for him, because it helps him charge it up. Okay, we got kind of smoked there. That wasn't too nice, but this damage is pretty nice, I think. Okay, we're gonna have to be careful and dodge that. Nice. Okay. Okay, yeah. Even without properly charging up the judgment, this is still as fast or faster. Very nice. Okay, good so far. I think when I get more used to charging up the judgment in between rotations, I think it'll get even better here. Let's go ahead and do this apocalypse phase here. Okay. Yeah. Might have to do, yeah, we have to do one more phase. That was unfortunate. That's okay. Hey, 330 is still pretty nice. We may end up being faster because we got a better phase rather than the one with Ebony. But this should be crazy. Here we should absolutely get by without having to... Yep. Awesome. No sword phase. That's huge. That saves you like 20 seconds, something like that. That's very, very big. And unlike the Rage, where you can't charge it up by moving around in between rotations, with the Judgment you can, right? So once I get more used to that, look at that. Pop off for an extra 3 bars. So juicy. And actually, you could probably end up popping off every rotation with that. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, buddy. Look at that damage. It's crazy. Yeah, this is gonna be huge. Huge damage. Yep. And that's all she wrote. Here we go. We're in the last phase. Okay. Just gotta be careful there with the explosions. But yeah, wow. So a minute 10 and we're at 225 right now. That's awesome. That is awesome. Let's go. Let's unload here. Full combo. Nice 2-bar. Okay. Refresh the chain hit. Go again. And... Oh, let's go. Almost a minute faster. Hey, yo. We started off kind of slow. I was a bit nervous. I was like, oh, man, maybe Rage is just really good for high-level World Boss Legend. Like, you never know until you test, right? And I don't have a lot of testing on Namor with a Judgment because... I remember I was really unhappy with him with a Judgment at tier 3, and then I swapped into a Rage, swapped into tier 4, and then he was obviously popping off with a Rage, but I never had the chance to go back to Judgment. I've heard really good things about Namor with a Brilliant Judgment, but I don't have Brilliant Judgment, so I was a little bit worried. But man, a minute faster on that stage is no joke. A minute faster is no joke. So now you know 2 big things. You know the Namor secret tech, which honestly I love. I think it's really cool, and it's the reason that makes him so good for World Boss Legend and GBR. And you also know that a Judgment is way better than a Rage for World Boss. And actually, you also know that you want to make sure you have the highest possible charge up for Namor. And so if you're struggling and you're using like a level 4 striker, try a level 5 or a level 6 striker because it can make all the difference. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of Namor. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.